Hello, welcome to a chakra reading on depression. And this reading is focusing on the many different levels and states of depression. There is clinical depression, there's just like a low-level depression, there's cyclical depression, there's seasonal depression, such as seasonal affective disorder. There is situational depression. Some of us have been long life depression sufferers. Many of us have experienced depression at least one time in our lives. So, the state of things that are going on right now, of course, can all lend itself to a kind of depression. Our chakras all respond and react and experience these depressive states with us. And as a result, they can assist us in how to navigate. I see there's a lot of air energy. The fifth chakra is dominating these three cards. And we have three chakras at play here. We have the fifth chakra, the third chakra, and fourth chakra. And at the center of both these rows is will and connection. And bookending the first is self-expression and sound, and gut instincts and personal boundaries. Let's talk about the dynamics here. So we have our will to do something it's kind of like a synaptical power, in the sense that you really only have so much of it, and it fires quickly. If we don't act on that will, it dissipates quite fast. But it's something that can be cultivated. It's also something that can be nurtured. And it's something that when we find our motivation, oftentimes we can find our will. And so your will being at the center of this fifth chakra, stance here is really saying how you need to put yourself center. Because oftentimes we are accustomed to obeying, or I can't find the word for it, but it's like kowtowing to someone else's will, to an authority's will, to someone outside of ourselves, whether that be a parent or even a child, right? Your children will demand, they're hungry now, right? And you have to take care of them. They need their emotions met now. So their will becomes more important than your own. And so it's not just an authority figure per se, but any being outside of you that is telling you what you have to do. And this is really about your will. and finding your will. And that being a slow road. It's hurdle. Right? It moves slow like molasses, whereas everyone else's will outside of you, it's like gimme, 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 gimme. I said do this. I said do that. Right? Okay. So let's move to connection. Connection is at the 4th chakra level. And the 4th chakra is our chakra of affinity. I prefer using the word affinity over love, but love is in there, right? It is, and this card in particular is talking about your connection to other beings. They're literally right here. Your connection to also other aspects of yourself. Because when we're depressed, we become kind of even more fragmented than we naturally are. In the sense that you remember your happy self like almost like a distant memory somewhere over here, not even in the frame fully. Right? Like the happy me was so long ago, or the happy me is so distant from my current state of being. And if we can connect our will to connecting back to our wholer selves, so that we can start putting the pieces back together of this depressed self, we will be better off. So oftentimes we want to use our will to do something outward. We want to use our will to say no to someone else's will. We want to use our will to do something external, whether it's an activity, exercise, work more, work less, right? Whatever it is, whatever the act is, we want to use it externally. And this is not about using your will externally. This is about using your will internally. Using your will to connect and to serve yourselves, all the different parts of you, and to string them back together so that they can create a more whole you. There are things that are going to assist with that. Sound is going to assist with that. And sound is more than music, but this is very much so a music situation. Give yourself the type of sounds that are going to be healing for you, but it's also about the vibes. It's very easy for me to say to hang around people who have a positive vibration. But this is about you creating an internal positive vibration for yourself, not for other people. So I see, clairvoyantly, I'm seeing you humming to yourself a song for you. Right? So it could be your favorite song. It could be a lullaby. It could be just something you make up. But it's for you. It's to kind of re-vibrate yourself, re-tone yourself, bring yourself to a different frequency. A different frequency so that this can happen. This is about moving with your gut instincts on this. Now, the 3rd chakra is in charge of gut instincts. And the way I like to describe the 3rd chakra gut instincts is not so much as intuition, but as the body's knowing. We have all kinds of memories and emotions stuck and packed in the around the 3rd chakra, and the organs around the 3rd chakra. And As a result, the history attached to those historical emotions are packed in there. It's like 1,000 tiny pictures packed into those emotional cells in your third chakra. And as a result, they are equipped with information. They're packed chock full of information. So you have this information. That's why when you see someone that you haven't seen and it's an ex, or it's someone, a boss who fired you, immediately it's like a gut punch to the third chakra. That's the reason why there's a gut punch. All of those emotions that are packed in the viscera of the third chakra, the solar plexus area, are activated. They don't need your brain to connect anything. It happens without you even thinking, right? The brain hasn't even really registered. Oh my gosh, that was my lover. Oh my gosh, that person was horrible to me at my last job. Oh my gosh, that's my sworn enemy, and I didn't expect to see them. So your intuition, your gut instinct specifically, and look at that lion. It doesn't have to use its brain to use its instincts. That's not what instincts are about, right? It's the opposite. So you instinctively need to move toward the vibrations that are going to create healing for you. You use your will to connect with this distant aspect of yourself that you don't even recognize. Bring that happy self back closer, connected to you with sound, using your instinct to do so. Now, let's talk about these two. These two are very interesting because your self-expression is, it's not just about, your self-expression, because think about it. This is a bird. This bird is cawing, maybe singing, right? Sound. But it's just doing what birds do. There's nothing special about this bird doing what birds do. But what this is really telling me clairvoyantly is that this is about your individuality, your particular voice. And a lot of what the fifth chakra is about is this external communication, this external expression for the other to hear and to experience. But no, this is about your individuality and your inner voice, how you're talking to yourself. Because as depressives, we can oftentimes speak extremely harshly to ourselves. And that has got to stop. Moving on to personal boundaries, I'm seeing that we need to set up some internal personal boundaries. So there are external personal boundaries. A person can't come X inches close to me, right? But I'm talking about internal personal boundaries. You need to create some internal personal boundaries with all of these selves. Your internal, depressive Nazi self you have to cut them off. No, you don't get all the airtime today. your lazy, unmotivated, I'm just going to sit here on this couch and do the same thing I've done day in and day out for however many weeks, months, days, years, right? Putting up some personal boundaries with each of these selves is extremely important. So whether you start with, oh, you know what, you start small, like this is not about being an absolutist and just severing every single one of these from the other. This is about saying, hey, we're all in this together. So there are only 24 hours to a day, you know. I want to, my sleeping self, you get to sleep for 8 hours, not for 12, not for, you know, not for 4, you know, if you have an anorexic sleeping self that, you know, you deny yourself a sufficient amount of sleep. No, I want you sleeping a whole 8 hours. I'm putting boundaries around how much you sleep because it's important to all of us, all of the different aspects of me. My waking self, you're not going to just do. There's going to be some times where you pause and you take breaks. If you are scheduled to be around a lot of people, and that's something that is triggering for you and not good, then you're going to remember that once you get home, you're going straight to your room. And there are no apologies for that. You know, whatever boundaries you need to put around the part of you that has to be extroverted, or the part of you that needs to sleep more or less, or the part of you that needs to be vulnerable today. And sometimes the part of us that needs to be vulnerable and can't be vulnerable, you can dedicate that time to journaling your vulnerability. Express that vulnerability somewhere on paper is a start. And that's today's depression reading. This is great because we oftentimes think of, you know, depression is very much so a kind of first chakra, red energy kind of feeling. But we can see how the 5th chakra can really assist us in so many ways internally. We can see how the 3rd chakra can as well. And we can see how the 4th chakra, which is oftentimes very much relegated to about loving other people and beings and things, is about connecting with ourselves. And that is absolutely beautiful. So peace and blessings to all. Growth, love, and evolution, y'all.